Hi, so I noticed there are no dog food reviews for anything I've tried recently, so I figured I'll just do it myself. If you don't know me, I used to make content a while back. There's not a whole lot to say about that. I don't really know what happened, really, but I figured I would do a review on Science Diet Light. So Science Diet Light is a weight control formula for dogs with weight issues. Now, I did write stuff down because I have a bad memory, so bear with me. So, I want to start out with saying I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not giving you nutrition advice. Technically, you do what you want with the information that you get. And this is coming from an ex-raw feeder. Now, over COVID, I kind of realized how crazy I sounded. I realized I was starting to have a big issue with denying science for my dogs. I wasn't denying it for humans, but I was denying it for my dogs. And that became a problem. So the lack of reviews I'm finding, yeah, you can find some good reviews online where written out, but some people don't learn that way or take information that way. I'm one of those people. I prefer to watch YouTube videos. So it does not help the consumer make the decision on whether or not they want to try this specific food. And before I say anything, I don't want to hear it in the comments. Heidi's thyroid is negative for any issues. I did all the blood work. She just has a weird metabolism. I'm going to link a video below that explains how some dogs with certain metabolisms work and how others don't, because the differences do make it hard to kind of explain how Heidi works when you have someone who has a dog that's type B when your dog is type A, if that makes sense. And with those different metabolisms, outdated advice does not work. For instance, I cannot just cut Heidi's food in half and fill it with vegetables. It doesn't work. No. My rescue cat is slamming into my tripod. So that outdated advice doesn't work because the food is not made for special needs dogs like Heidi. She needs low fat, she needs a special calorie count that doesn't come from a regular kibble, no matter how far I cut it back. And I can't and will not cut my dog back so far that they are starving, like the internet suggests. So one of the first things I noticed with Heidi's new food is her acid reflux is gone. I'm talking gone. So for years, Heidi would, be wrestling, be on her back, and suddenly start choking. And you could tell it was acid reflux. I did things like Pepto, slippery elm, things like that, and it kind of helped, but nothing has helped this much up to this point, like switching Heidi to Science Diet Light. The acid reflux is gone. Heidi usually bloats or gets really gassy on a new food, and none of that happened with this food either. No bloating, no gas. She's actually already noticeably thinner, which is really, really good, especially for those really bad hips, because the bigger a dog is, but I'm being harassed. Oh, you didn't want to be picked up. You didn't want to be picked up. This is the cat I trapped 2 years ago. Yep. Okay, now go play. The bigger a dog is with mobility issues, the worse off they are because there's more stress put on those joints. This includes bloating. So with Heidi, the gas has been non-existent, and her usually puffy stomach has actually gone down, which is really interesting. It's not something I've experienced during food swap. Another big thing, Heidi is turning 9 years old next month. So with that, I have seen some cognitive issues coming in. She's old, tired, these things happen. I did look through the Purina senior formulas and actually found that non-senior formulas of Science Diet have higher vitamin E levels than Purina senior formulas. And what that means is essentially vitamin E is very important for cognitive health in older dogs. So the higher, the better. So with Science Diet Light, even though it is not a senior food, it has better vitamin E levels for senior dogs, which again improves cognitive health. I have noticed that Heidi has been feeling better. She has a lot more energy. She is wrestling a lot more. She's starting to hold toys and howl while holding the toys, which is something she hasn't done in a very long time. And her mobility is also improving. As I mentioned before, the more weight you get off a dog with mobility issues, or a dog like Heidi with severe hip dysplasia, the better, because there will be less strain on those joints, and those joints will then not deteriorate as fast. I also wanted to touch on the bag size and portions. Now, I don't follow the back of the bag. Some people are fine with that, some people are not fine with that, but for me, I find that feeding Heidi over 2 cups always ends badly. She is very sensitive. I call her at this point special needs. Everything varies by dog, but I find that she does really well on 2 cups of this food compared to what the bag says. Heidi loves the food so much, actually, that we no longer have to carry training treats when we go for a walk. I don't have to do any of that extra stuff anymore. Heidi will take the kibble as if it is training treats and, go back into her heels or recall or whatever. She acts like it tastes amazing. Now, the only con I have about this food is the price point. Down the line, I'll probably have to move Heidi to large breed. At the moment, I got the medium bag just to see how she would do, so it's not large breed. It was, I believe, with taxes, $92. And the large breed for the big bag, 25-pound bag, will be around $120, which is pretty steep, especially for just a weight control food. Now, I am feeding it because I do really like Science Diet itself, which I know I'll get some comments telling me that it is the Antichrist of food. I disagree. I used to be like that. I used to think this way, but I have actually seen my dogs do excellent on Science Diet. I do wish it was cheaper. I do wish there was a way to bring the price down, because with inflation and how the current market is, it is very hard to afford it, especially with 2 dogs who would need 2 separate formulas due to allergies. $120 per dog adds up for sure, especially if the foods only last 1 month. Now, with all this being said, I do really like Science Diet Light. I will be continuing to feed it to Heidi. I think it is definitely worth trying, and I think that more vets need to actually keep this one in their arsenal and help people who have dogs with acid reflux, fat issues, obesity issues, and all that, find a solution outside of the vet clinic. But all in all, if I had to rate this food out of 10, I would probably rate it a 10, complete 10. I love it, and I do recommend it.